What's up, guys? Paparazzi talking ball cards. Today, I'm going to tell you a few reasons why PSA loves paying me and maybe you. Guys, really appreciate you tuning in. This video's been a long time in the making, and it's kind of it's a compilation of things that I've learned over the years, primarily dealing with PSA, and they're just if you're familiar with PSA and you're familiar with my channel, you know that I've had a lot of ups and downs with PSA, and so in general, I'm just gonna start with a couple of facts, and I really don't think these are up for debate. First, PSA, you guys need to know, PSA is making mistakes every single day while grading. And this video is going to cover some of those mistakes and, give you guys some reasons and methods for how to recoup any deserved money because of those mistakes that they make. And I'm going to highlight some cards in my collection and tell you about some of my experiences that I've had. And so first card and first thing I want to talk about is damage. PSA damages your cards. It's just, and the degree of damage that is done to your card varies. It varies. I've had some very small, corner nicks and things like that, but there's also been some very, very egregious cases of damage that have happened. And as far as damage goes, I've been paid over $600 in checks from PSA as a result of them damaging my cards. They've damaged some modern cards by crimping them during the encapsulation process. And the most egregious example that I'm going to highlight here first is my 1961 Topps Roberto Clemente. That card I had reviewed, and it was essentially reviewed as an off-center 8, but they reviewed it. The card actually wasn't off-center. It was an older grade. They gave me the straight 8, and I don't have the card in hand right now, so I'm going to put up some pictures for you guys. And after I took a close look at the Clemente, it was apparent that there was a wrinkle right through Clemente's face. And so, it doesn't matter how nice of a card or how cheap of a card, they are going to handle your cards roughly. Looking back at some of the numbers, they damage about 1 in every 100 cards that they have graded of mine. So about 1% of the time they are damaging cards, and I know it's not just me. There's a lot of videos out there. So what do you do when you find this damage? Well, first you need to document it. In some cases, it's going to be easy. It's going to be obvious because they're going to call you up and they're going to reveal that they damaged the card. They will be honest, and I don't think they're trying to hide damage a lot of the time. They're fine with approaching you and reaching out to you over the phone. However, they often do miss the damage that they cause. The quality control, quality assurance step that they have highlighted in their grading process is a gimmick. It's not real. They're not really QCing or performing quality assurance. I'm an engineer. I know what goes into that process, and I tell you, they're not doing it. They are missing a lot of things, whether it's labels or in this case, like I'm talking about, damage. So on my 61 Topps Clemente, they wrinkled it, and they did not catch it. So they sent it back to me. I documented it. I made a whole video about it. I'll link the video out. Obviously, I'm showing you guys the still frames of the card because I don't have it in hand right now. But once you see the damage, once you find it, and in general, it's very important to look your cards over when they come back from PSA for this reason, right? They are going to accidentally damage cards and things will slip by. You need to document it, you need to take pictures, and then you need to send it back to them through a damage review. So you can fill out one of their downloadable forms. You put damage review in there. They usually get back to you pretty quickly. When they call you up and they confirm the damage, first thing they're going to try and do is push waivers or vouchers on you, where you get 20 free gradings, or we'll give you 10 free gradings. Tell them absolutely not. Tell them you need cash. They'll give you a check, but make them cut you a check. PSA, like I said, has given me over, it's around like $1,000 in damage over the years, okay? Damages caused. 61 Tops Clemente being the biggest one. I think they cut me a check for $500. I'll see if I can find some details on that check. Anyways, so that's the first one, guys. It's really important. Inspect your cards for damage, okay? Now, getting into why PSA, another reason why PSA loves paying me. And I'm going to categorize these next two types of things or issues mostly being on their older slabs, okay? So like I said at the beginning, PSA is making mistakes every single day. Believe me when I say that back in the 90s, PSA was making even more mistakes. Loose grading, damage, just missing things, and being a little more lenient, especially compared to how they're grading now. And so the first thing you should look for, especially when it comes to an older grade, if it's an older slab, you should always inspect the cards closely. Now, this example that I have here, a 1963 Topps Mickey Mantle in a near mint 7 off center OC. You see this 02177579. This is a very old slab, okay? Now, the thing to look for in these old slabs, especially, is wrinkles. Wrinkles is a big one. Like I said, PSA damages cards, but they also miss wrinkles occasionally. Now, a wrinkle these days, and the way that their standards are set up, if a card has a wrinkle, it should not do better than a PSA 5, okay? So if you have a high-end card, let's call it a PSA 8 or PSA 9, 7 in this case, and you find a wrinkle on it while it's still encapsulated in the slab. So again, you're always taking a close look at it. If you find a wrinkle, that means that card should grade no higher than a 5 at PSA, okay? And so in this situation, with this card specifically, I purchased it. I thought it was a nice example. My original idea, what I wanted to do with this card, was I was going to crack it, resubmit it to PSA, and just basically take a straight 6. So I measured the centering on the card. It works for a PSA 6. And so I was going to be happy with that. And before doing that, like I said, always check your cards. And when I looked, let's see if I could capture it here. I'm going to use some glare. Might be hard to see, but there's a wrinkle on this back corner. Not sure how well you guys can see that, but the card has a wrinkle. And so this just slipped by. PSA should have given this probably a straight 5. Instead, they anointed it with a near mint 7. And it's just not, guys. With that wrinkle, it's going to be a 5. I'm going to send this one into PSA for a review. And I'm going to ask them, hey, does this meet the near mint 7 standard? And that's what I'm going to have them review it for. And obviously, I'm going to point this wrinkle out to them, and they're going to see that wrinkle. And I anticipate they'll tell me, they'll give me a call, and they'll say, hey, you're right. This is a 5, and we are going to cut you a check for the difference in value. So this is something that I've done once before, pointed out this kind of issue, and essentially the outcome is the same. They're going to try and push some vouchers on me, decline those vouchers, make them cut you a check like they're going to cut me a check for this one, guys. Okay? So before moving on, moral of this story, always inspect cards in old slabs. PSA is missing things. They miss things today, and they missed a hell of a lot more of them back then, back in the 90s, okay? So that is 2 reasons why PSA loves paying me, and maybe will love paying you as well. Okay, last reason, guys, and this is a tougher one, okay? The last reason is just general card wear. How lenient were they with the grades on the old slab? Okay, here's another proven example from my collection. As you guys will see, let me get that out of that glare. Okay, or there we go. This is a 1958 Topps Mickey Mantle in an EX Mint 6. And as you can see, it is an old grade, okay? So when I first bought this card, it came to me in a near mint off-center 7, okay? So it had the same assigned grade as the 63 Topps, okay? And I looked at it, and this centering is actually more than appropriate for a near mint 7. And one thing I did notice when I first purchased the card is I looked at these corners, and excuse my gross fingernails. I looked at these corners and I said, you know, there is just absolutely, this corner is probably the strongest out of all of them. That corner is a little rounded. This corner down here probably being the weakest. And so I looked at it and I said, God, you know, it meets the centering requirements for a 7, but it has these weak corners. And so I wasn't sure how PSA was going to handle this grade review. And so I sent it to them. I said, hey guys, look, it meets centering requirements for a 7. Give me a straight 7. Revise the grade. This was the same thing that I went through with the 61 Clemente. That was a PSA 8 OC, and I measured the card. It's within tolerance, so they corrected it to a straight 8, but of course they folded the card in half. So anyways, for this card, they took a look at it. They gave me a call. They said, John, you are correct. This card is within the 7 tolerance for centering. They said, however, the card itself has too much corner wear to deserve a straight 7. And so to honor our money back, or, a grading guarantee that they call it, it's on their website. It's tucked away in one of their web pages, where basically they say that if a card doesn't meet their standard, they will pay for the difference. And believe it or not, that's what they did. They gave me the difference in value between a near mint 7 and an EX Mint 6. And so, again, they pushed some vouchers on me, and this was the first time that I had encountered this type of situation, and I was new. I was a newbie. I hadn't been grading much at that point, and I made the huge mistake of accepting vouchers to cover the damage, or to cover the grade difference in value on this card. So I think they gave me 20 regular grade vouchers, so $400 worth of grading vouchers, guys. And it was a huge mistake. I should have made them cut me another check, but lesson learned, you guys don't make the same mistake as me, okay? Always take the check. Make PSA pay you for all of their countless mistakes. Now, when I said that PSA loves paying me, I did say that kind of tongue-in-cheek. I'm saying it a bit sarcastically. However, in the end, I think they do like this type of scenario. I took an inappropriate grade from PSA, one of their screw-ups, had them review it, and gave them a chance to correct it by paying me the difference and obviously bringing the grade of the card down, okay? So there's a couple of things to consider here. With this old serial number, in general, in our hobby, people look at that and they go, oh, that's an old PSA grade, so it's gonna be worth a little less than a new grade. And the reason that that's, for the most part true is because they've made so many countless mistakes, guys. But in this situation, they made it right. They fixed the grade, and they brought, and in other words, they brought up one of their old poor grades, and they fixed it. They brought it up to snuff. And so in the end, I think this is something PSA likes doing. They would be happy to pay you guys as they are to pay me to get these old crap grades off the street, get them up to their current standards, which are, of course, more stringent than they were back then. Okay, guys. Now, getting into long-term, kind of looking at things long-term. Yes, there is still this stigma about these old certs, these old numbers, these old grades. And so there's a couple of things you could do. Obviously, you can leave it in the slab, as I have. I've kept it in place. The other thing that you could do is you could snap it. You could snap it if you feel strongly after they've paid you, of course. So make PSA pay you for the mistake. And if you still feel that the card is strong for that grade, you can snap it and resubmit it fresh to PSA, and hopefully you roll the dice. Hopefully you get your same grade back, and it's with a new cert number. So I'm not advising anyone do that. There's inherent risk. I'm probably going to leave this bad boy alone. It's going to stay in this case forever. But it's up to you guys. And if you do successfully do that, you're adding a little bit of value to your card, right? Because it'll be with a new cert number. But yeah, there's a bit of risk there, guys. So anyways, that's why PSA loves paying me. And I think PSA would like to pay you guys to clean up some of their old grades. And I think this is something you could do to add some value to your collection, because you can get these cards with the old grades at a discounted price. So that's it, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. Definitely some lessons learned, some strategies here. Let me know if you guys liked the video. Give me a thumbs up, give me a comment, subscribe. I'll keep these coming, and I will keep you guys updated about what happens with the 63 once I get it submitted to PSA for a review. And until next time, Paparazzi talking ball cards, out of here.